New polls released over the weekend showed U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris leading her Republican rival Donald Trump in the race for the White House. An NBC News poll released on Sunday found that Harris led Trump by 5 percentage points among the 1,000 registered voters surveyed. The poll, which has a margin of error of 3 percentage points, also showed a significant jump in favorability for the Democratic candidate for president since she emerged as her party's nominee. A separate CBS News poll found Harris leading Trump by 4 percentage points among likely voters, with a margin of error rate of plus or minus 2 percentage points. The findings are broadly in line with other recent national polls, including those by Reuters Ipsos, that show a close contest heading into the November 5th election.
She's not competent to be president.
Trump launched a stream of attacks against Harris at a rally in North Carolina on Saturday and said that he would not do another debate with her.
The problem with another debate is that it's just too late. Voting has already started. She's done one debate. I've done 2. It's too late to do another. I'd love to in many ways, but it's too late. The voting is cast. The voters are out there immediately. Is everybody voting? Please get out and vote.
On Sunday, Harris told supporters at a fundraiser in New York that Trump should accept a proposal from CNN to participate in a debate on October 23rd, after agreeing to the offer for a second matchup in a post on X.
We are staying in this race. We are in it to win it.
North Carolina's Republican candidate for governor said he was staying in the race after an explosive CNN report said he once called himself a black Nazi in comments posted on a pornography website. Mark Robinson is North Carolina's lieutenant governor and is running in the state's gubernatorial race against Democratic candidate Josh Stein. CNN reported that Robinson posted a series of, quote, gratuitously sexual and lewd comments dating from 2008 to 2012, and that it was reporting only a small portion of them given their graphic nature.
Salacious tabloid trash.
In one post from 2010, CNN reported Robinson said, quote, slavery is not bad. Some people need to be slaves. I wish they would bring it back. I would certainly buy a few.
Now a story.
On Thursday, Robinson denied making the comments.
Let me reassure you, the things that you will see in that story, those are not the words of Mark Robinson. You know my words, you know my character, and you know that I have been completely transparent in this race and before.
North Carolina's gubernatorial race has implications for the presidential contest between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, as it could affect turnout in one of the closely divided battleground states that could swing the election. Robinson was endorsed by Trump and has joined him at rallies in North Carolina, including as recently as last month. On Saturday, Trump held a rally in Wilmington, North Carolina, but Robinson did not make an appearance.
The only candidate that makes sense, the only slate of candidates that make sense are on the Democratic side. We're not into culture wars and, silly conspiracy theories. We as Democrats are absolutely concerned about, what is best for the American people. How do we improve our living conditions? How do we improve our economy? How do we make life in this country more equitable for everybody?
I'm voting for all the Democrats, every last one. Go over to all of them all. We need a change. We need sense in the Capitol, in the White House, and we need rights for women. We need a lot of stuff that we're not going to get on the other side.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz appears to have fended off a far-right victory in his home state on Sunday. Early exit polls showed Scholz's Social Democrats, SDP, scored almost 31% of the vote in the Brandenburg state election over Alternative for Germany, AfD, closer to 29%. The SDP has governed Brandenburg, the state that surrounds the capital Berlin, since German reunification in 1990. An AfD win would have been a humiliating blow to Scholz's hopes for a second term. He is already the least popular chancellor on record. However, the victory is unlikely to give Scholz a real boost. There is growing debate within the SDP over whether he is the right person to lead the party into next year's federal election. Critics point to what they say is hesitant leadership and poor communication skills. Brandenburg's popular premier and fellow Social Democrat Dietmar Woidke had distanced himself from Scholz during the campaign. On Sunday, Vodka said despite the victory, the exit polls being so close was alarming.
When and openly, in big parts, an overall openly right-wing extremist party in our state scores around 30% of votes, it's hugely alarming for all of us, for all Democrats, for everyone who stands up for freedom, openness, and tolerance. Despite all the pride we feel today due to the good result, we must take this seriously. We must continue the debate after this election campaign. Brandenburg only has a chance if Brandenburg remains a liberal-minded and tolerant state.
While Scholz declared the outcome a significant success for his party, they are struggling nationally, polling at just 15% behind the AfD's 20% and the opposition Conservatives at 32%. The election did see an increased voter turnout at 73%, up from 61% in the previous election. But many who voted for the SDP reportedly chose the party to block the AfD rather than out of strong support. Last month, the AfD became the first far-right party to win a state election in Germany since World War II. It has gained traction on anxiety over a cost of living crisis in Europe's largest economy, immigration, and a possible escalation of the war in Ukraine.
Sri Lanka elected its new president on Sunday, the Marxist-leaning Anura Kumara Dissanayake. The public put faith in his pledge to fight corruption and bolster a fragile economic recovery following its worst financial crisis in decades. Dissanayake led from start to finish during the counting of ballots, polling over 42% of the votes. That's despite not having any political lineage, like some of his rivals in the presidential election. He knocked out incumbent President Ranil Wickremesinghe and opposition leader Sajit Premadasa to become Sri Lanka's 10th president. The election was also a referendum on Wickremesinghe. He led the heavily indebted nation's fragile economic recovery from a meltdown in 2022. But the austerity measures that were key to this recovery hindered his bid to return to office. He finished third with 17% of the vote. Premadasa, in second place, got almost 33%. This election marked the first time in Sri Lanka's history that the presidential race was decided by a second round of counting. That's after the top two candidates failed to win the mandatory 50% of votes to be declared winner. A gas explosion in a coal mine in Iran killed dozens of people and injured at least 20 more. That's according to Iran's state media on Sunday. It added that the accident, which it said happened in the South Khorasan province, was a methane explosion and took place in 2 blocks of a mine run by the Madanju company. Rescue efforts in the first block have been completed and operations in the second block have started. The governor said that methane density in the block is high and the operation will take around 3 to 4 hours. State TV reported that there were 69 workers in the blocks at the time of the explosion. President Masoud Pezeshkian expressed condolences to the victims' families, saying the government would learn lessons from the incident.
Israel and Hezbollah exchanged heavy fire into Sunday. Smoke rose above Lebanon as Israeli warplanes carried out the most intense bombardment across the country's south in almost a year of conflict, while Hezbollah fired rockets deep into northern Israel. The Israeli military said it struck around 290 targets on Saturday and that it would continue to hit more. In the Lebanese capital of Beirut, residents like Diala expressed frustration and hurt after a week of escalating tensions.
For sure, we don't want war. We are not happy about it. But in the end, we don't have a choice or an answer for what's happening. I believe all Lebanese people share the same perspective and the same pain. No words can describe what's going on or the sequence of the incidents.
Sirens sounded across Israel all night as multiple rockets and missiles were fired from Lebanon and Iraq. The Israeli military said most of those were intercepted by the country's aerial defense systems. The country closed schools, restricted gatherings in many northern areas, and told hospitals there to transfer operations to facilities with extra protection from rocket and missile fire. There were no government directives from Lebanon on Sunday morning. The conflict has raged since Hezbollah opened a second front against Israel. That's after Israel went to war with Hamas in the Palestinian enclave of Gaza, triggered by the October 7th Hamas-led rampage in Israel. Israel's subsequent assault on Gaza has killed more than 41,400 Palestinians, according to the local health ministry, and displaced nearly the entire 2.3 million strong population. The escalating attacks come less than 48 hours after an Israeli airstrike targeting Hezbollah commanders in a suburb of the Lebanese capital. The Lebanese health ministry said on Sunday that the death toll from that strike had risen to at least 45. Friday's strike inflicted another blow on Hezbollah after 2 days of attacks last week, in which pagers and walkie-talkies used by its members exploded. The death toll in those attacks, widely believed to have been carried out by Israel, has risen to at least 39, with more than 3,000 injured. Israel has neither confirmed nor denied involvement.
More than 100 people are dead or missing in Mexico's western Sinaloa state since rival factions of the Sinaloa cartel began clashing on September the 9th, with the gruesome violence showing no signs of stopping. That's according to local authorities on Friday, as the country's president points fingers at the United States' involvement. Sinaloa's governor said more than 40 people have been arrested in recent days, including Fernando Perez Medina, known as El Pilli, the alleged security chief for one of the sons of the jailed former Sinaloa kingpin known as El Chapo, who now leads the Los Chapitos faction. The trigger for the conflict between the two most powerful factions of the Sinaloa drug syndicate dates back to July. That's when Ismael El Mayo Zambada, the leader of the faction rivaling Los Chapitos, who allegedly co-founded the Sinaloa cartel with El Chapo, was arrested in the United States. The 74-year-old has since pleaded not guilty to drug trafficking charges at a New York courthouse. He alleges that a senior member of Los Chapitos kidnapped him and flew him to the U.S. against his will. Since fighting broke out on September 9th, shootouts have disrupted daily life in Sinaloa's capital, Culiacan, where schools have had to close on some days, while restaurants and shops shuttered early. Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador on Thursday said that the United States was partly responsible for the instability because they, quote, carried out this operation. He was referencing the prior surrender talks between U.S. officials and Joaquin Guzman Lopez, the trafficker who allegedly kidnapped Zambada and who is another son of El Chapo's. U.S. officials have privately confirmed that they held talks with Guzman, but U.S. Ambassador to Mexico Ken Salazar said last month American officials were surprised to discover Zambada on U.S. soil. Salazar added that no U.S. resources or personnel were involved in the July 25th kidnapping of Zambada.